Hello, everyone. Today is a huge honor and privilege. Let me introduce a champion who needs no introduction, but I'm going to do it anyways because I like to hear the statistics myself. McLaren's first Formula One world champion, which we'll get to here shortly, and a two-time world champion, IndyCar champion, two-time Indy 500 winner, and lots and lots and lots of other races. Mr. Emerson Fittipaldi, widely globally known as Emmo. Thank you for joining me.
Good morning, Zach.
This is awesome. I grew up idolizing Emmo, and that hasn't changed even though I've gotten older.
No, thank you.
And running McLaren, I think one of the best privileges has been able to hang out with the Emmos of the world. So let me start with maybe some history behind my watch that I'm wearing today for good luck, which is 50 years since McLaren won the first world championship, 1974. You won it for us. What was that year like?
It was a fantastic year, Zach. It was when I joined McLaren, I feel the motivation, the determination to win the championship. McLaren never won. The M23 was a beautiful car. The team was not big, but most of the guys from New Zealand at that time, and they are committed with the passion to win. And that was a fantastic year. And the last race, we went to Watkins Glen, equal points with Clay Regazzoni Ferrari, was the only time in my life that I only slept 3 hours because there's tremendous pressure. And we start side by side in Watkins Glen, and our guys look at the Ferrari mechanics, and I couldn't look to Clay, and Clay could look to me, and we knew one of us could be world champion. The last race, equal points.
Amazing. Did you come into the season thinking, I'm going to win races, we're going to compete for the championship? Was McLaren the favorite, an underdog? Where? I know it was your second world championship
Yes.
at that point, so clearly everyone knew you were already a world championship driver, but was it McLaren versus Ferrari? What was the atmosphere starting the season?
It was extremely positive. My teammate was the great champion, Danny Hume, was one of the best friends of Bruce. We started the season very strong in Argentina, Brazil. I won the Brazilian Grand Prix, and then we knew we had the capacity to go for the championship. And then at that time, McLaren, the team was making a lot of preparation for each track. The logistic with different suspension geometry. Had a very short car for Monaco, short wheelbase, mid wheelbase, long wheelbase. I mean, the whole team was ready to win the championship. It was a fantastic year.
And that same year, which is amazing because we're kind of here now, we win the Indy 500 with Johnny Rutherford. And then Johnny told me last night, which I never knew, that you actually drove his car. So what, were you following Indy then? Was that of interest? What was it like driving that car? And then obviously you come back 10 years later and then you win it a couple times. But what was it like being a Formula One team and an IndyCar team? I know what it feels like today. Did it feel like one big team? Did you like coming over? What was that all about?
Well, everything started when I was a teenager in Brazil. We have documentary movies about Indianapolis. And I was a great fan of Jim Clark. And when I joined Lotus, Colin Chapman won with Jim Clark in 1965. And then I keep asking Colin, I was to be in Indianapolis. Colin said, I love it. It was great. You have one day to race. And I asked Jochen Rindt, who was the team leader, and Jochen hated Indianapolis. I don't like that place. But I think Indianapolis, you love it or you don't like it. There's no halfway. And then we finished Watkins Glen. We won the championship. And the Philip Morris Gulfstream bring me to Indianapolis. And I tried this beautiful McLaren from Johnny Rutherford, winning car. It was a Goodyear test. The car was perfect. And after 2 days, I was getting the speed up. But I decided not to race because that time was the monocoque was a 2 millimeters aluminum, and if you look at the crashes, was the car disintegrated. I said, no, I'm not doing next year.
Yeah, pretty awesome. It's really cool that you drove that car. I didn't know that piece of history. So then you stop Formula One. I think you do some sports car racing for a bit, and then you come over to IndyCar. I remember the 1989 Indy 500, which to me had to be like the most exciting finish. You and Little Al duking it out to win Indy. What was that like? The finish, and then obviously Little Al got out of the car, and it was like, what hand gestures is he giving you? What was that fight like? How did you when he got past you? Did you think, I've just lost it, or you knew you could get him back? Well, take us through those final laps of the 1989 Indy 500.
You know, I was leading most of the race, and the last pit stop it should be a splash and go. There's no many laps, and Patrick was so nervous, asked to fill up the car. And then when I come out, I see Little Al faster than me coming, overtook me 3 laps to go, and I said, I'm going to lose. I cannot lose it now. You know, the last 3 laps. And then he got traffic coming out of turn 2, lapping people, and we got side by side, and he pushed me down, not to take the right line to turn 3. And Zak going down on the straight, I looked to him like he was racing the street, you know, and he looked to me like we needed 1 mile more to get ahead, but we come side by side in turn 3. I had the proper line, and I said, I'm not going to back off. I didn't back off, and I'm sure Junior didn't back off. Yeah. And mid-corner, my car slide, the back end, just touch Junior, and I come out of the corner, I saw he crashing, and I called Jim McGee. I said, McGee, how he's doing? He said, Emerson, he's okay, he's out of the car. I said, thanks God, you know, he didn't got injured. And then next lap I come in, he give the sun up, and later he come to the garage to congratulate me.
Yeah.
But what I say in racing, I would do what he was doing to me, and if you be on my place, he's going to do exactly what I did. It was a racing, but it was an incredible finish.
Clean racing. I one of the things I've always admired about you and Little Al, I was a Little Al fan, how hard you raced. Yes. You were really clean. You see some drivers today are running people off the track, and so you fought hard, but it was clean. And that turns me to what was probably the best duel I've ever seen in racing, which was the 1993 Cleveland Grand Prix. You and Nigel slugging it out like 2 heavyweights, just going at it clean. And just, I remember that race, and you and Nigel just running side by side, swapping positions, clean and hard. But Nigel was a clean driver and a fierce competitor. What was, that must have been fun.
I remember this.
I remember that really well.
I always, every time I see Nigel, remember Cleveland. Because we exchanged 7 times positions, 3 laps.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And we used every inch of the track, you know, try to on the limit, and always respecting his car, and he respected me. And it was incredible dice. That was I always say the best dice of my life.
I thought it was amazing. It was clean. You never touched, but it had you on the edge of your seat for 3 laps. It was an awesome race. And so here we are at Indy. Of all the things that you've accomplished in your career, which is pretty much more than anyone, Monaco, Indy 500, Formula One, IndyCar, how does it all sit with you when you look back at your career and you hear it, Indianapolis, and you walk around, you go, I've won this thing a couple times. You've got the cool jacket, that Roger Penske,
Roger style.
Roger style. How proud of you of your career?
Well, you know, Zach, when you come to Indianapolis, it's 180 years of history, so much tradition. And I thank God every day to be able to win, you know, Formula One and here. And it's unique in the world to be Indianapolis, you know, for the spectators, for the drivers, for the sponsor. This is the only place in the world that the 500 miles, Indy 500. And all my European friends that never been to Indianapolis, I say, come one day and watch. See the 33 cars going to turn one. And it's on TV you don't see properly. And the atmosphere, the crowd, the people. I mean, this is something that only exists in Indianapolis. That's my opinion. I feel lucky, and again, thanks God that I was able to race in Indianapolis.
And one other I'd like to touch on, because you were very close to him, and we're celebrating in Monaco today a special Ayrton Senna livery, which the fans love. He was amazing. I never got a chance to meet him. You brought him over to do an IndyCar test, which was pretty cool. What was Ayrton like, fellow Brazilian, fellow world champion? He seemed to be a very special guy.
Since he was racing karting, when I was testing my own car in Interlagos, he used to come with his father. He was very shy. I said, Ayrton, come to the inside the garage. And then he come, and then the history made Ayrton, and we're always very good friends. And I invite him at the end of the year, say, Ayrton, why you don't come? I was testing Phoenix just before Christmas. Come over. And I call Roger. Roger said yes. On the street, it was a small road circuit, Firebird, that we used to test for traction, for braking before Long Beach. And Ayrton come. He loved the car. He was very surprised because at that time the Indy car was very similar to Formula One car. If you look at the layout, the power, and then he wanted to come, but it didn't happen. Because my dream was to have Nigel, world champion, and Ayrton to start the Indy 500. For me, it would be fantastic, but then it's history. But he was a very quiet when he didn't know the people, but he had a very good sense of humor when he was, knowing more the people. He was a fantastic driver and a very special person.
There must be something in the air in Brazil. Or in the orange juice, as to the magic sauce you and Ayrton had, and so awesome of the rich history that you both have at McLaren. I hope we get our race in today as scheduled. Yes. It's weather looks a bit tricky.
Looking good. What do you think, Zach? I'm going to ask you.
I think we've got 4 cars capable of running at the front. So I think there's 15 cars that can win. I mean, as you know from IndyCar racing, it's the most competitive racing, and we'll turn our attention to Monaco here shortly, but what an honor and a privilege to be here with you.
Thank you.
Have you as a McLaren world champion, consider you a great friend, and thank you for spending some time with us.
Thank you, Zach, and I hope to have a good race, safe race to everybody.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.